Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eichenberry in real life, and I got another message here. This is a business startup question, kind of. Has to do with video games too. So I got a message here from Tanner, and he says, "How do you find people or investors who are willing to give money in return for ownership in a company?" So that's the first question that I'll tackle here, and here's the deal is that any smart investor won't touch you with the 10-foot pole if you have no track record. It's just the way it works. And so you have to have something very, very unique, very, very original, and very patentable. And you must have already secured, some sort of rights toward it. And patent can be, as cheap as $5,000, as much as $20,000. And there are certain things you can patent and certain things you can't. So, I happen to know what you say a little bit lower in this message, and what you're talking about here, I don't believe can be patented. So he says, also, what do you think about Kickstarter? I am in the process of developing my own Steam machine. And those of you, I'm sure you've heard about the Steam machines. They are the Steam's version of a console, and except they are a PC running Linux or a variant thereof. And we hook up our controllers to it, and it is a very expensive console. I mean, hell, just build yourself a damn gaming PC and then dual boot it. Honestly, uh, that's what I think of the Steam machine. So I honestly think the Steam machine is doomed to fail. And now I'm willing to be proven wrong, but I think that this model is, I don't know. The reason consoles work is because they're subsidized so heavily by game sales, and so the console makers actually take a loss like the first year that they come out, and it's a heavy loss. You're paying $300 for that console. Well, it actually cost $500 to manufacture, and then it goes, when it gets traction, it flips around. When they've got the volume, they get the prices down, technology prices come down, and then they make the money on the flip side with the video game sales. And so that's how that works. Well, with Steam's model, they have you build this awesome PC that happens to run the Steam OS, and it's not subsidized at all by the game sales, at least not that I'm aware of. When I look at these things, and I can't believe that I've seen Steam machines for $7,000, as much as $7,000, and I haven't seen any that really are in the kind of the console range in prices. So at least not that have any guts to them. And if you're a hardcore gamer and you're going to buy one of these, you want to be able to play your games and really enjoy them. So he says that he's in the process of developing his own Steam machine with a custom case, but require about $25,000 for tooling and engineering and manufacturing. And wants to know if it's a good opportunity for crowdfunding. Well, yes, probably your best route on this is crowdfunding. And now, the the idea of, I guess maybe that's your uniqueness. That's what is going to be unique about this Steam machine, is that it's a custom case, because it sounds like you're spending a lot of money on that, tooling and everything. I mean, literally, you're getting into manufacturing here on something that is a white box PC. I could build one of these, all I got to do is go out and find what parts are supported with the Steam OS, and I could put it all together. I could do this myself. And I think a lot of other people can do it themselves, and a lot of hobbyists will do it themselves. So what is the value in this computer case for your Steam machine that is going to make it something that is a must-have? Is it going to have, the letter Steam light up across it? And, it's going to have, I don't know, some other sort of doodads that make it better. We're already doing that with our PCs. And now a Steam machine, one thing that's different about it is that it may very well be in your living room. And so being in your living room, you want a computer that has a little bit different dynamics. And there are cases out there like this already. And I'm really sorry to burst your bubble here on what I think, but this is honestly what I think. The computer case should be quiet, for one, which is hard to do when you have performance. It's very hard to do when you have performance. My GTX 770s that I have in my machines, whenever I get a game going that pushes it a bit, you really hear the whine of the fans. And now you can use some extra slots, and you can replace the fans with something that have deeper blades. The deeper the blades, or the bigger the fan, the slower it needs to turn to move the volume of air. And then hence the quieter it is. But since these fans have little tiny blades on them, and they're only this long, maybe not even that long, and they just got to buzz around like a little bee to get the job done. And so you need something that's quiet, and you need something that looks nice. And what I mean by looks nice is that it looks like a stereo component. It doesn't look like, you can lock it into a cabinet or something like that, but then you got to have air vents on the cabinet, and you've got to have, ventilation and everything. You can't just lock it into a cabinet and not have ventilation. You will burn up your machine. But so you have to have all this good airflow and everything. Now, I have had in the past some computer cases that look like they are stereo components. And the stereo component based ones have a big knob on them, usually for volume and stuff, and maybe have an LED display and have front panel that comes down for attachments. And in the case of a Steam machine, maybe it's attaching controllers if they're wired, which I doubt that we would use wired controllers, but you never know. But also attachments for plugging in other external things, and but then it has the full stuff in the back, and you would probably be using an HDMI out because you're going to go into a stereo receiver, or you're going to go straight into a TV, and not to a monitor. But you would want to have both. But like the GTX 770 that I'm using, it has both. It has a DVI and an HDMI. It actually has two DVIs out and one HDMI. And so I think that what is it about a console machine, home console machine or whatever, the Steam machine, that makes anyone want to donate this kind of money? And I feel like you're barking up the wrong tree. Now, don't let me rain on your parade, because, the ultimate test will be Kickstarter or some variant thereof. And, you make your pitch on Kickstarter, it'll work or it won't. And if it works, you have something to run with. If it doesn't, you have your answer. And I know Kickstarter is a lot about, marketing and driving people to your campaign and everything. And so you're going to have to figure that out too, beyond just how to build this machine. But it is a good barometer for whether or not you have something that people need and want. Another problem is going to be that you have to explain it all in the Kickstarter, which makes your idea hard to protect if you haven't already protected it. So anyway, I hope that helps. Hopes it gives you, some food for thought and some things to work on. And if you do get a Kickstarter up, yes, do let me know. I'd love to take a look at it, and I wish you much luck. So, Tanner, thank you, and take care.